There's a lot of attention on Virginia with a very exciting governor's race down to the final week now. Virginia, once red, then purple, and now blue, could be moving back the other way. The culture of this country is the reason why the fight over school indoctrination of your kids has become a real loser for Democrats. Polls show a strong majority don't like this new Marxist push, and that's exactly what it is. The same people bringing you Black Lives Matter are now screwing with your kids' education. Parents in Loudoun County, Virginia, have taken an aggressive stance against the school board over this issue, pushing a theory that America cannot be fair without a complete overhaul of capitalism. All over the country, people are fighting back against this. And in a sensible world, the one man who would be fighting back harder than anybody against this toxic ideology would be Barack Obama, a man who started off as a community organizer and civil rights attorney, who would rapidly ascend to a position where he ran the entire country and made a fortune in the process. Living proof that critical race theory is the political scam that we know it to be. And yet, Obama doesn't push back. In fact, as we heard over the weekend, he thinks you are crazy to be worried about this.
We don't have time to be wasting on these phony, trumped-up culture wars, this fake outrage that right-wing media peddles to juice their ratings.
Unreal. We don't have time to be wasting on these trumped-up culture wars. Now, to his credit, he's smart for two reasons to say that. The first, marginalizing CRT is the best possible move for somebody like Barack Obama in his speech. It's the only way he can avoid looking horribly hypocritical. Can you imagine Obama trying to proclaim the nation is systemically racist when he is the shining example of it not being so? He certainly can't do it in a purple state like Virginia. Maybe at a San Francisco dinner with Pelosi and a bunch of rich liberals, they'd applaud the lie the same way they continue to vote for policies that threaten their very existence. There is no logic in that world, the world where most liberals live. But in Virginia, this was Obama's only move. The other reason that his statement was smart is the polling in Virginia, a new Signal poll with Youngkin and McAuliffe at a dead heat, 48 each, something else. However, when looking at Virginia parents with kids in K-12 school, look at those numbers. Youngkin with a commanding lead, 56-39 in favor of the Republican. Yes, CRT is a loser, and not just with Republicans, with everybody. So now the same people who help push this effort, who try to convince you that we need these theories in our school, are just acting like it doesn't exist. Yes, parents are turning against Democrats. Nobody is fooled by Obama's underestimation of what's happening to our culture, and even fewer will stand for a program that looks to permanently divide this country by race. It's funny to hear Obama claim there's nothing to see here on this, though, and say, oh, this is all trumped up, it's nonsense, it's just pushed by the media, it's not really happening. In light of this development, a Biden official appointing the president of the National School Boards Association to a federal oversight board. All happening, of course, right after that lovely letter that they wrote to Biden claiming that angry parents are essentially terrorists. Now, to parents out there, your liberal government is obviously ganging up on you and trying to make you feel like you're crazy for noticing. As for Virginia, Glenn Youngkin has made opposing critical race theory central to his campaign.
Dr. Martin Luther King called us all to be better than we are. He called us to judge one another based on the content of our character and not the color of our skin. And critical race theory is a political agenda that is absolutely in our schools. And it teaches everyone to view everything through a lens of race and then pits our children against one another. So friends, on day one, we will teach history, but I will ban critical race theory.
That is exactly what probably 80 to 90% of the parents in this country really want to hear. Unless you're far left, that's what you support. Even though the polls don't suggest it, that's what people really think. They might be scared to say it. That's what people want. More than anything, this fight is about weakening this country's dependence on the victim card, which right now is the most powerful card that we have. It is the platinum Amex of entitlement. Now, Terry McAuliffe, the former Virginia governor who has been credibly accused of corruption and shady dealings in the past, is aware that CRT is not helping his case now. His state is just not blue enough for that. And now he's trying to kowtow to those concerned parents after going all in on this indoctrination for most of his campaign, only to find out that it's, of course, a loser. Yes, Terry McAuliffe is every politician you've ever met. He will say anything to get elected. He'll even flip in mid-campaign. And he's got all the big names working for him, although perhaps some may be working against him.
It's election time. As you know, this is an important election coming up on Tuesday, November 2nd, and early voting is already underway. I believe that my friend Terry McAuliffe is the leader Virginia needs at this moment.
They're friends, by the way. Does that convince anybody? I wish there was a way to go back in time and change history so you could see multiple outcomes for a myriad of reasons, of course. But this campaign, with and without the help of Kamala Harris, it'd be funny to know her exact impact on a political race, you know? And Biden shows up tomorrow, which is even funnier, as McAuliffe has already admitted that nobody in his state even likes Biden. And as for Glenn Youngkin, he's pretty much going it alone for the most part, embracing Trump-style policies and ideas while cautiously embracing Trump himself. Of course, he's in a purple state, and even a more blue-purple state. He's worried about scaring off moderate support. And the media is noticing. According to ABC News, Youngkin is to be just Trump-friendly enough to keep MAGA-friendly forces happy, but not so close to Trumpism that he alienates independent voters. Now, Youngkin has received Trump's blessing in the form of a formal endorsement, but Trump is privately telling people, we understand, Newsmax reporting, that he fears Youngkin could lose the election by not embracing him more and driving out the Trump base. Now, we do want to note, we've tried to get Glenn Youngkin on this show many times. He has yet to appear on Newsmax, despite multiple requests.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.